Are you in love with an avoidant man? And is it causing you daily anxiety? Let's check. How many of the following apply to your relationship? He pulls away when you open up emotionally, and you fear that you're going to scare him off. He rarely initiates affection or couple time, and you worry that he's not interested in you. He downplays or dismisses conflicts, and you're concerned that you'll get pushed away. He needs a lot of space, but he won't explain why, and you worry that he's getting sick of you. He shares very little about his inner world, and you feel alone in the relationship. Finally, he avoids commitment or future talk, and you fear that he's planning an exit. How many of these apply to your relationship? Now, if these sound all too familiar, you're in the fear and anxiety cycle of an avoidant relationship. Worse, you probably see the excellent man hidden behind the glass wall, and you want to approach him, to comfort him, to love him, to bring out his best, but you're afraid he'll snap or run away if you come on too strong. You're feeling like time is running out, and you don't know what to do to make this love strong enough to survive. I'm Adam Lane Smith, the attachment specialist. I've been helping couples with attachment issues for well over a decade now, and especially helping people in avoidantly attached relationships. The real reason that this attachment anxiety is happening is not that you aren't loving him in the right way or giving him enough warmth and affection. And I want to make that very clear. The secret cause behind this cycle is his own nervous system. The programming he received as a child, his overdeveloped amygdala response, and his blocked hormonal bonding receptors that prevent him from feeling closeness with you. Until we fix these issues, and we can fix these issues, this cycle is doomed to burn both of you out and sabotage your love. But, I want to be very clear here, when you do fix these issues, you become the first person he's ever been able to truly open up to. You become his first real love, and he finally receives and understands your love in return. So if you have felt trapped in this anxiety cycle, make sure you watch to the end of this video, because I'm about to show you how to build a loving, trusting, and intimate connection that allows both of you to feel totally at rest and to help him realize you are his home. You're going to learn how to communicate in a way that breaks through that glass wall between you and helps him understand your emotions and your needs, and finally show you the care that you've been looking for. It's time to end the fear and the panic spirals and get you bonded like he has never felt in his life. Now, why? Why does a relationship with an avoidantly attached man, even an ethically avoidantly attached man, why does it inspire so much anxiety and stress in a partner? And this is not to demonize avoidantly attached men. You know we don't do that here on this channel. But why? Why does it inspire so much fear? A couple of key reasons. The first thing we need to talk about is that they go quiet during very important moments. They actually shut down. We'll talk about why, but it feels like rejection or abandonment. So during the most important moments in the relationship, they shut down and go quiet, and the other person feels totally disconnected and shut out. Then they fully shut down when emotions rise. It leaves their partner feeling totally alone in conflicts and in problems. They delay their responses without explanation, creates confusion and insecurity. They hold back on information instead of sharing in the moment. They often will avoid eye contact or avoid physical touch, especially when things get tense. And again, this feels so dismissive and so rejecting. They keep their inner world closed off from their partner. It feels like they're constantly hiding something. And they tend to act totally fine after fights, which makes you question your reality. That was so bad and so ugly and so mean. That vicious fight we just had, how can they pretend everything's fine? They often tend to dismiss emotional needs, their own and other people's, and that feels like rejection. Again, constant feeling of rejection. They tend to withdraw during closeness. During the closeness, that sends mixed signals. I like you, but maybe not that much. That's the signal that's accidentally sent. They resist vulnerability or being exposed. It leaves you, the partner, doing all the emotional heavy lifting in the relationship for them. Most of you in the comments who come in and say, Adam, why should I do this much work for him? That's why you're feeling exhausted and burned out. And perhaps most of all, avoidantly attached people tend to stay completely surface level. It makes deeper connection feel completely out of reach. And it feels like they're saying, I don't trust you, and I'm never going to. Now, the reality is that this is not the message avoidantly attached people, especially ethical ones, want to send. And it's not one they're even sending intentionally, but these messages spark overwhelming attachment anxiety in a partner. Now, what does this cause to the partner? Well, number one, the emotional withdrawal signals danger to your brain, especially during conflict or silence. Your amygdala activates and says, they're rejecting me. They're abandoning me. They're pulling away during something that should just be a quick conversation. What's happening? The unpredictable connection rate between you triggers your body's stress hormones, cortisol especially, to prepare for perceived loss or rejection. They're pulling away and I'm about to lose them. Stress spike. Their limited eye contact, their limited touch, limited emotional attunement and connection, it reduces your bonding signals, making the relationship feel emotionally unsafe. A lack of cues, it sends signals that you don't love me. They are telling you through their behaviors over and over and over, not accurately, but accidentally, I don't love you. That's what's being sent. Right? And you're receiving that. Without co-regulation consistently from a present partner, your body exits a calm state and shifts into a survival mode. Your ventral vagus nerve gets suppressed. Your sympathetic nervous system flares up. And your system says, I'm alone. I'm actually really alone in this. I tried to have one conversation with you to get closer and it went horribly wrong. And we've had this 5 times now. And that intermittent closeness, some closeness, followed by distance, creates an addictive reward punishment loop in the brain. It's a dopamine dysregulation. It's intermittent reinforcement, same thing that gambling does. So you become addicted to, well, if I work hard enough, then they'll be happy and they'll reconnect with me. And then it's, man, I don't want to work that hard. That's exhausting. Why am I doing this? And shame. This is the spiral back and forth that actually comes from being with an avoidant partner. Now that's just a normal, healthy, average human being. This is so much worse for someone with anxious attachment style who walks in, because they're already constantly scanning for signs that they're going to be abandoned. So when it hits and they see it, it's 5 times worse. And the smallest little sign feels horrible. Okay? Silence even feels like abandonment. It's not just taking space or breathing. It feels like they're abandoning you right now. They're silent because they're angry at you. Every delay triggers worst case thinking. As an anxious person, you're going to crave closeness. You're going to get distance instead. It's going to feel like you're always chasing scraps of affection, and shame and guilt kicks in, but then you're addicted to the gambling and the intermittent reinforcement. You can't stop pushing the button even though it's draining you. You overanalyze texts and tone and timing. It gives you no peace, and it gives them no peace either. You try to fix the disconnection, but you only end up feeling needy and rejected even more. In fact, you'll feel punished for wanting reassurance with that partner. And the connection between anxious and avoidant partner, you doing that will drive them further away, making them worse, making you worse, making them worse, making you worse, and it cycles up into an unsustainable, painful pattern. I get asked all the time, what is my attachment style? What is my attachment style? What is my attachment style? So I have finally launched the attachment assessment. This is not a short quiz that just spits out an answer after 3 seconds. This is a thorough, in-depth, science-backed assessment. Check it out on my website, adamlanesmith.com, and learn your attachment style, the severity of what you're dealing with, and some next steps you can take right now to build very secure attachment. Now, the anxious partner's brain is very interesting in this case. The amygdala in an anxious partner's brain is designed to see and programmed to see distance as a danger. Then it spikes cortisol levels that are already running high in the background, but spikes them even more up into panic attack territory. Oxytocin release that you get is commingled with dopamine so that your brain feels good when you get your intermittent reinforcements, a jackpot, and the craving kicks in every time you don't get it. And your prefrontal cortex can't calm things down once your fear floods in. The prefrontal cortex is immaturely formed in an anxiously attached person. They can't manage their emotions. It's actually overformed in an avoidant person who is suppressing their emotions through their brain chemistry and through their brain formation. It's suppressing their feelings on purpose to numb them out, and they wonder why you can't do the same. And then your dopamine spikes higher during reconnection phases when the avoidant person comes back to keep you chasing that endless emotional high. Now, similar brain issues are happening over on the other side. The closeness for an avoidant partner actually feels like threats and pressure, so the amygdala fires up. For the anxious person, distance is scary. For the avoidant person, closeness is scary. So one of you, no matter what, is going to be unhappy. The cortisol spikes when you're asked to talk about feelings and get too intimate because your brain is actively suppressing that area from threats and danger. Oxytocin doesn't flow easily almost at all. Trust takes forever because the oxytocin receptors are blocked due to sympathetic nervous system activation. So the love, the warmth, the snuggle hormones, they don't activate, they don't receive. Your prefrontal cortex over-controls in an avoidant partner's brain and shuts down instead of opening up. Your nervous system is wired to protect you alone, not to connect other people. Emotional needs for an avoidant partner feels like traps, not invitations. Conflict sounds like criticism and danger. It triggers withdrawal because it's hopeless. No one will ever work with me. An avoidant person feels safest when they're alone, even when they're lonely. They'd rather be lonely than in danger. So in this cycle, you're probably hearing one of the biggest problems really is the communication. What's not known, what's guessed, what's wondered, what's missed. Communication, one person is shutting down, the other person's ramping up and over-communicating. Talking feels like chasing or cornering. Silence is used as an escape, not as resolution. Texts get shorter or then longer on the anxious person's side. The tone gets colder and then more frantic. Emotional needs get labeled as too much or demanding, needy, clingy. Logic, cold reptilian logic, replaces empathy. Conversations begin to feel mechanical, almost judgmental, even transactional. Conflict loops over and over and over with no real resolution or repair because it doesn't feel like there's anything to do to change it. Both partners end up feeling unheard. Both feel blamed. And any more talking that goes on after this point just leads to more distance, more disconnection, not closeness. Now, the fix for this, honestly, is incredibly measurable, clear, and exact communication that's done in a way that is mutually fulfilling and good faith and trusting. It builds an intimate relationship. I'm introducing a concept here today that I've been working on with my business partner, Andre. You've seen him on the podcast, I Wish You Knew. He's actually been on here in some interviews. He's my business partner. We're building negotiation-driven relationships and negotiation-driven relationship communication together. Okay, this is a very unique methodology working on together as the ultimate application of secure attachment in communication. Now, the goal of negotiation-driven relationships and the communication in it is to cut down on any power struggles and replace them with intentional, respectful, good faith negotiations that meet people where they are to make the relationship sustainable, magnifying, and deeply fulfilling. Okay? I'm going to say it in short. You build mutually beneficial relationships. You meet people where they are, and you do it all with better communication skills. It focuses on optimizing vasopressin and oxytocin bonding through communication while allowing for the prevalence of personality disorders in our culture and people with attachment issues too. It's a communication approach you can use with anyone, wherever they are, and get your needs met and feel good about yourself at the end of the day and grow your relationships. I wanted to build this. Andre wanted to build it as well based on our different experiences and expertises so that we can fit them together into this methodology. I'm going to show you right now today a snippet of this for how negotiation-driven relationships fixes a fear cycle in avoidant relationships. So I'm going to go through the framework here in a minute, but first, here's how you know it's going to fix it. NDR, negotiation-driven relationships. NDR fixes it by, number one, having measurable, exact language that disarms his guessing and his threat detection while also disarming your guessing and your threat detection. If you've watched my How to Love an Avoidant Man video course, you know that measurable language is the key to solving issues with avoidantly attached partners. Most of you have taken that video course, you go through it, and then you email me and say, it changed everything to be measurable with him. All of a sudden, he's listening, we're thriving, and I'm getting my needs met, right? Huge change, that one right there especially. Inside NDR, we guide you into discussing your capacity. It turns any discussion from a blame game into an exchange of facts. This is the capacity I have. I'm happy to give this to you. We'll show you what that means in a moment. You're negotiating in good faith, and that cuts down on a transactional feel. This isn't, I will do this for you, but only if you do this. It's, hey, here's my capacity. I'd love to give this to you. For me to be able to give the fullness of that to you, I would need this. Are you able to do that for me so that I can also give to you? Can we take care of each other this way? It's not transactional in the least. I'll show you again some of the applications for this. His need for space in this structure is reframed as one way of recharging the relationship. And then you get your needs met too, because you need to recharge too, probably together. Your desire for closeness is reframed as helpful to the relationship and for both sides instead of being needy or demanding. It removes all power struggles. There's no one person wins, the other one can't. It creates peace and harmony for both sides. We need to win and win and win together. In fact, the concept of negotiating in good faith removes any sides. It creates a unified team approach, which builds vasopressin. I've got 8 or 9 guides for building vasopressin here on the channel. I know so many of you love that. This is a communication approach that builds vasopressin and gets your needs met. Let's go through the 4 levels that we've identified of where people are communicating and where avoidant people get stuck. Okay, now they go in ascending order. Level 1, worst, force, demands, threats, ultimatums. Do it or else. Brute control. You will do this, right? You don't even have to add a threat. You will do this. This conversation is over. I am not having this discussion. I am not going to be doing this with you. You are not going to be telling me what to do, right? Absolute force, level 1. This is what a lot of avoidantly attached people grew up experiencing, and that's why they're avoidant. Okay. Now, they try to operate higher than that, usually at level 2, which is leverage. It can be withholding, guilt, power imbalance. I'll give you this if you do this for me. I'm doing this for you, but I expect this in return. Right? If I do this for you, you had better blank. It would be a shame if you didn't do this because I would have to blank. Level 2 leverage is where a lot of avoidantly attached people get stuck because it's better than what they expect people would do to them. Their idea is that if other people had a chance, they would just dictate to me out of force. I'm at least being more ethical than other people. It often appears as fairness, especially the person giving it, but it feels like coercion. Now, level 3 is manipulation. It could be passive-aggressive behaviors, emotional baiting, misdirection, using miscommunication and confusion on purpose, lies of omission. I'm fine, but secretly seething on the inside. Okay. It relies on confusion to gain advantage. It's doing lots of nice things for the person, distracting them and then pulling away and going and hiding so that you get your 2 hours alone and they wonder where you went and you're off like trying frantically to calm down. Again, a lot of avoidantly attached people, this is actually the height of ethical conduct for them is benign or benevolent manipulation to try to manipulate others. A lot of anxiously attached people fall into manipulation as well, by the way. So most people with attachment issues get stuck at level 3 maximum, but avoidantly attached people default back to level 2. And if they are absolutely pushed and their vagal nerve shuts down, they flop back down to level 1 and push back against you. And that's what we call stonewalling. Now, manipulatively avoidant people and people with personality disorders will descend as far as they can and get away with it, especially when stressed. Ethically avoidant people try to go up. They actually try to ascend, but they usually feel capped out because they don't believe level 4, the biggest one, the best one, is possible. They think people will take advantage of them. Now, level 4 The highest level of good, secure communication in NDR is persuasion, healthy communication, persuasion based. This is not used car salesman tactics, that's manipulation. Persuasion, hey, this is what I think could work. This is why I honestly think it's best for both of us. What do you think? Persuasion, good ethical persuasion, transparent, win-win. It's calmly aligned with values and reality. You're clear about your needs, your boundaries. You have conversations about your capacity to give. The other person asks, and you say, well, I'm concerned because this is all the capacity I have. I can give you that. And this, if you could do this for me, it would grow my capacity to give to you. So you need this. If you can do this for me, I'll be able to meet your need in this way. Can we do that? Okay, it's open to solutions that work for both people. It's the best approach to sit down and have a calm conversation that then initiates vasopressin as you solve problems together, and oxytocin because you actually feel accepted and cared for and you both get to win. Now, the avoidant person at first only knows and works at levels 1 and 2, which triggers their fears massively. They don't want that used against them. And ethically avoidant people hate using those levels 1 and 2 against others. It's all they understand. That's why they actually pull away and run away. They flee instead of fight because they don't want to go there. It feels awful. It's what they were used to as children. They don't want to inflict that on you. Now, here's the secret sauce of the best relationships. For you to learn how to do at level 4, calm, transparent, mutual winning persuasion, rarely level 3, only if absolutely necessary in any of those capacities, if you have to dip there with them. NDR allows you to ethically go down. If that's where they are and they can't meet you up higher, you can go down and communicate with them, but invite them to higher. And then for you to learn NDR and teach it to the avoidant so you both grow in the relationship. This will help you unmistakably identify, by the way, whether the avoidant is ethical, they want to ascend to level 4, but they don't know how, or they're manipulative. They cap out at level 4, but they're trying to descend and get nasty, especially when stressed out. They plummet as fast as possible. Now, what does persuasive negotiation look like? Well, there's some core traits here. Use a very calm tone. You don't get dysregulated. You don't get freaked out. You don't go up and agitate and try to intimidate. Calm tone. You have a good faith mindset. I'll be honest with you. I'm going to be clear with you. I want us both to win. You have a clear, honest needs. You've learned to identify and articulate your needs to the other person. You have a team first posture. Our team is going to win, not endless self-sabotage and sacrifice, but team first. Let's win together. And there are no ego battles here. It's not let's pull it out and measure it. It's let's build a relationship that feels great for both of us. I like to use this illustration. A small village. There's a man who fishes and a man who farms. They need to be trading food back and forth to each other so that they can get a full, healthy, balanced diet. Now, if one of them is endlessly trying to starve the other one out and barely give them anything, they're both going to suffer. If they can generously feed each other's families and care for each other, they build a long-term thriving relationship where both is fully satisfied and they can trade like that for 60 years and their kids can trade and their grandkids can trade and it continues in a thriving village structure. Okay? That's level 4 persuasive communication. I know that a lot of the people watching this show right now have had attachment issues for their entire life. That's why I want to invite every single one of you to check out my attachment repair program. It just might be the jump that you need to go from insecurely attached and lonely and frustrated to fully secure, connected, and bonded in a great relationship like nothing you've ever felt before. Check out my website, adamlanesmith.com, for the attachment repair program. Now, psychologically, NDR works because both parties are staying in their parasympathetic, the calm nervous system. Escalations are handled together. It's productive. Hey, it feels like you're going up here. What's going on? I see you getting more stressed out. Explain why. Help me understand, because I want us to be calm and steady, but what's going on? Both of them have worked to have a calm amygdala. It does require some self-regulation and self-work. It's hard to do this with someone with severe trauma, but as your amygdala stays calm and no threats are detected, you can stay cool and steady. Both doing the self-work ahead of time is incredibly important to stay here in this level. It also allows for high engagement. Your prefrontal cortex is highly functional and working. You're using logic, consequential thinking, and growing together. That way, your best judgment is used. Broca's area, the speech language center of your brain, because you're so calm and steadied, your linguistics are top level. You're able to communicate fully and articulately because Broca's area is activated. Again, because you're calm and regulated. Vasopressin bonding, oxytocin bonding, serotonin release, all of this happens during the conversation. I'm bonding to you because we're solving problems. I feel trusted and accepted by you and at rest. I'm actually releasing serotonin for full contentment and bonding, and my system is actually healing through our negotiation. It's fascinating. Whenever Andre and I have practiced this together, I have a mood brain tracking ring. And then I look afterward when we use NDR, and my stress levels plummet so deeply that my system thinks I took a refreshing, calm nap. It's incredible when you see the brain chemistry and the neurological pieces here at work. The biochemistry, it will feel like you are resting through the conversation. You recharge during the negotiation. It feels amazing. Both sides in this, as you begin using it more and more, you'll have a trust but verify mindset. Trust is given on both sides, but also transparent evidence. It's like the always give receipt with the change approach, right? You send your friend with $20 to the store, they buy whatever your drinks and everything you're looking for, they come back, they hand you the change and the receipt. You don't even bother looking at the receipt because they gave it to you and everything's so clear and transparent, you throw the receipt in the trash without examining it, but because they gave you the receipt. If they didn't give you the receipt, what happens? Was there a receipt? People ask. Was there a receipt? Oh, yeah, I threw it away. Well, okay. And you just kind of, oh, okay, I guess. But when they give you the receipt, full transparency, you throw the receipt in the trash without looking at it, right? Human psychology. They were proactively transparent, so I don't even need to examine. This prevents paranoia or doubt, okay? It sets you up if there are moments of confusion, you can push through them because you go, they've always showed me a receipt before. They've given me a receipt 500 times. They accidentally, this time they said, yeah, the machine wouldn't print one. I'm really sorry. Hey, no worries. I'm not worried about you stealing money. You're good. I appreciate you. Mentally, this approach keeps you focused on personal goals and maintaining ethics and long-term life goals. Also the relationship goals that you have with the other person. And it's always adding additional goals to each talk to sustain the relationship. Imagine if you walked into every conflict, you and your partner walked into every single conflict for the rest of your lives with a goal: sustain the relationship. Not maintain it at any cost, sustain a good, loving relationship. What would that change for you? It would keep you intentional. It would probably have you speak slower to not overreact or scare the other person. You're not trying to fast talk your way out of something. You're calm and steady. You're listening closely. You're processing, you're reflective listening to clarify, hey, this is what I think that you've told me so far, just so I know, is that right? All of this weaves together into a very steady, easy communication approach. Now, Andre and I have identified 4 pillars in negotiation-driven relationships, okay? The first is capacity. What can each person give today? What can you give in the relationship? Capacity avoids burnout. It avoids overload. It respects limits without guilt. Maybe your avoidant partner says, I'm sorry, I want to be present with you. I have very little to give right now. Work was so brutal. 14 hours of it. I have nothing left. Imagine if they were able to just say that to you instead of just looking stiff and stoic and refusing to engage. And you have no idea why. If they could say, look, my capacity is really rock bottom right now. Imagine if your avoidant partner came to you and wanted physical intimacy and you were like, I would love to give you physical intimacy. I don't have that feeling right now just because we have been disconnected for so long. I don't have capacity to give that to you. However, if we can work together and go on a date and spend some time talking for a little bit, I would love to be physically intimate with you afterward. That's that capacity. That's a negotiation. It's not transactional. Give me a date, I'll give you sex. It's, I would love to take care of you in that way, but I don't have the capacity. So if you could help me and enhance my capacity, I'm going to feel so good. I would love to also take care of you, not in a transaction, but let's take care of each other, but grow our capacity to do so. We rely on each other for capacity growth, but we take care of each other because we care. See the difference? Not transactional. The second pillar after capacity is needs. You get to the root issue. There's wants versus true needs, and wants can be addressed, but it's asking each other, okay, what is this really about? I want to take care of you. So what is this discussion we're having really about? And how can we help? How can we help each other? What do you really need out of this conversation here today? What are you really needing during this interaction? What's really breeding this level of resentment or sadness? What's going on? Having those needs focused into the relationship changes everything. Instead of just surface level, here, take this, go away, what's the real need you have and how can we both take care of you today? The third pillar is sustainability. Can this system hold long term? We're avoiding short-term patches that just shut people up and get them through. That's why we have to go to the needs, but discuss capacity and build repeatable systems. Sustainability means neither person is exhausted or fatigued or feels overstressed. The avoidant person, they tend to run away at the end of relationships because they feel overwhelmed by needs and get very little in return. The anxious person runs out of relationships because they feel like their needs have never been met and they've overgiven. When you build a sustainable system by conversing about needs and capacity, sustainability becomes easy. And finally, the fourth pillar is mutual fulfillment. Both must benefit. No silent resentment. Okay, the long-term goodwill fosters intimacy. You grow your connection together by meeting each other's needs, by protecting and growing each other's capacity, and building a sustainable loop. Remember the fisherman and the farmer. If they are endlessly taking care of each other, and the farmer says, I really need this much fish to feed my family, but the crop harvest was so bad this year, and the fisherman says, hey, I've got you. I want to make sure your kids eat and no one dies, right? I've got you this year. The next year, the farmer comes back and says, we had an overabundant harvest. Let me feed you more, right? Goodwill. They do this for 50 years and care for each other. That's a trusting relationship. You must be building this inside your relationship as well. Mutual fulfillment. It can only come about through transparency about capacity, transparency about needs, and transparency about sustainability. Here's some phrases you can use inside this. Okay, what will work for both of us here? We've talked about the problems. What would work for both of us? Asking the other person during a conversation, what does success look like to you in this experience we're having? What does success or winning look like to you? What's a win condition for you here? Another question you can ask is there a better version of this win we're looking at or this solution? Is there a better version? Is there ways to go up from here? Another one, if you're looking agitated and the other person says, you look stressed out, you could say, I'm not upset. I'm trying to figure out a way first to solve this together, right? Clarity around that, shifting back to team focus. Now, attachment issues get stuck at lower levels and can't go up this high because for a number of reasons, but both sides don't know how to communicate. You didn't grow up with a family that built this. If you have level 4 persuasive communication in a relationship, in a family, that builds secure attachment almost every time. So if you didn't grow up with that, you don't know how to do it because you never saw it or felt it or experienced it. One of the biggest things in my coaching practice is people frantically writing down things I say, phrases that they can then use because they've never heard them before. They've never heard things phrased in a calm, persuasive, transparent, capacity-driven conversation. Right? They don't know how to do that. Both sides instead with attachment issues are likely to default to feeling safe and managing the other person. Another word for that is manipulating, even benevolently, instead of giving clarity, openness. My capacity is low. Well, then get away from me. I have needs. Well, I'm not interested. This is not sustainable for me. Well, I don't care. It's sustainable for me. That's what they're used to hearing. So they don't have those conversations. Broca's area, the speech center, as we get agitated, interferes with clear speaking and articulation. As you get more agitated, it becomes almost impossible to use level 4. You have to be calm and steady to even use it. And when triggered, avoidant people in particular move toward control for safety. It looks like domineering behavior. They're taking control so no one can hurt them. Manipulatively avoidant people will hurt you to benefit. Ethically avoidant people will gain control and then escape. Avoidant people are likely to go to leverage thinking more often, level 2. Anxious people are more likely to use manipulation because they don't think they have leverage. Some of the biggest tyrants in the world are very toxic, anxious people who gain leverage. Okay, we see that a lot with really bad parenting. I'm your parent and now you owe me for life. I've seen that a lot with the toxic side of anxious attachment. Okay, that's the ultimate high-level resentment. I deserve to cheat on you because I've given you 20 years of care and attention and now it's my turn. I've seen that, okay? Both, though, are unconsciously desiring persuasion. We all want the highest level, but we believe it will get us hurt from mismatched intentions if we try to go there, so we stop. We don't know how to do it. We instinctively are craving it, but we're also terrified of it. Personality disordered individuals, by the way, they default to the lowest possible level as fast as possible to conserve energy and resources. That leaves mental and emotional scars on insecurely attached kids who grew up with a personality disordered parent or two of them, or who had partners who did this. Okay, anxious and avoidant people have emotional and mental scars from people racing down the scale as fast as possible to force and leverage. This is why using negotiation-driven relationships structure is the only communication method that works, okay? It clarifies all intent up front. Hey, this is what I'm looking for during this conversation. This would really help. I call it front-loading context. This would really help. It matches your goals to create mutual benefit. This is what I'm looking for. But what are you needing? First, before we even get into this conversation, what do you need out of this conversation? It decreases the amygdala threat detection because nothing feels threatening. And if it does spark a little bit, it calms back down. This prevents cortisol flooding through your system. It helps both sides see the benefit of the other person's thinking. Okay? This is what you're thinking. Okay, well, that makes sense. I'm glad you could say to the avoidant partner, I'm glad that you're tracking risks like that. That's really comforting. Here's how I think we could win together, though. It prevents the anxious partners from feeling abandoned because communication is actually happening and they know what the other person's thinking. They know it's a capacity issue and not a love issue. It prevents the avoidant partner from feeling controlled or domineered over, right? And dictated to. And it's not transactional. Again, it's not, I will only give you this if you give me this. It's, I would love to give this to you. My capacity right now is 2 out of 10. If you can do this for me, my capacity will go to 6 out of 10. And then I'm happy to give you 5 out of 10. I'm happy to do that. Can we take care of each other? Win-win, not transactional. Again, ladies, I need to go on a date with you first before I can give you physical intimacy is using NDR. Let's go on a date and then we can both have sex that we'll both enjoy. That's negotiation-driven relationship, not transaction. First, take me on a date and then I will sleep with you. That's transactional. See the difference? Capacity-driven. Help me grow my capacity so I can then give back to you. Now, I want to be very clear here. Negotiation-driven relationships is a powerful communication approach, but it's only one part of an overall giant relationship system you need that builds what we call a secure relationship. This is why a secure relationship itself is fully necessary, okay? This is why I've built a video course to show you exactly how to build a securely attached marriage called How to Build a Secure Marriage. Okay. Other parts of that course interlock with negotiation-driven relationships, communication structures to create a fully secure system. I teach the CEO, COO method of marriage. It's a great model for gender roles that actually works, that's adaptable to each individual's reality. It doesn't suppress or smother you. It helps you grow and thrive. It gives you shared purpose. You have matched values. That course also teaches you intentional emotional intimacy and explains what emotional intimacy is for anyone who's struggling there. And it gives you targeted vasopressin bonding renewal for any couple who wants to trust each other for the rest of your life. If you're wanting to build repeated honeymoon phases throughout the course of your relationship and feel bonded and calm and safe, this video course brings you the system to create lifelong peace and passion as a couple. Go on my website, adamlanesmith.com, and click to the How to Build a Secure Marriage course now, or click the link down in the description now to secure your copy today. If you're in love with an avoidant man And if you've been feeling more and more anxiety that you're going to lose him, make sure you apply what you've learned in this video to communicate with him in a way that keeps him coming back. If you can overcome the uncertainties, the guessing games, and the inaccurate communication problems, you can build a peaceful and loving relationship where both of you feel comfortable. That means fewer conflicts, less fear, less time spent stressed out or worrying what he's thinking, and more time sharing your personal thoughts together and relaxing into each other's arms. Using this method is also going to clarify for any of you out there who aren't sure if the avoidant man in your life is ethical avoidant or manipulative avoidant. Many of you have asked me in the comment sections of my avoidant videos how to tell the difference. Using negotiation-driven relationship communication is one of the best possible ways to determine the nature of your avoidant man. Cut through the anxiety and the fear and get clarity on the possibility of lifelong connection versus pushing back against a manipulator, okay? It's crucial to do both. NDR gets you there. I also want to make it clear that a fully secure marriage is going to take more than a communication shift. That's why my How to Build a Secure Marriage course walks you through applying NDR and also highlights the best ways men and women can work together in loving roles to support each other in achieving their dreams. If you want a passionate, fulfilling, and above all, secure connection for life, you need to learn the systems present inside my marriage course. Head to my website, adamlanesmith.com, to get your copy now, or click the link down in the description below to learn more. I'm Adam Lane Smith, the attachment specialist. If this has been helpful, and I know that it has, make sure you click like. It helps a lot. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and drop me a comment below with any questions you have about avoidantly attached relationships or negotiation-driven relationships. I'd love to hear from you.